I'm Paul Levinson, and welcome to Light On Light Through, episode 323. My review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds 1.8, which I saw late last night on Paramount Plus TV. And I have to say, I really have mixed feelings about this episode, and that's because I thought most of it was flat out ridiculous. Easily the worst episode of the season until close to the ending, which I thought was heartwarming and uplifting. So let's unpack that, and of course, spoilers will follow. To begin with, the ship and its crew, turned into a fairy tale, was the biggest piece of at first inexplicable idiocy I've ever seen in any Star Trek episode in any of the many series. And the problem was more than the clumsy efforts at humor that SNW has been prone to. The problem was more than 30 minutes of sheer nonsense bordering on gibberish. I wouldn't say the ending redeemed this because that first part was not really needed at all. But giving Rukaya a life out of the transporter was a wonderful thing, and the manner in which that happened, she could live that life in the vistas of her mind and not be brought down by the illness her body was suffering, well, that was a nice callback to the menagerie, in which that same solution worked for the original Captain Pike. I thought the best scene in this episode was Dr. M'Benga's conversation with his adult daughter. That scene was not only gratifying, but had its own callback to The Next Generation's The Inner Light, one of the best episodes from that series. Now, I still would have rather seen M'Benga come up with a physical cure for what was threatening his daughter's life, but I'd say 1.8 of Strange New Worlds is an episode worth seeing. That is, if you don't pay too much attention to the first two-thirds. And I hope you enjoyed that review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds 1.8. Hey, people often accuse me of saying nothing but good things about the shows that I review, and usually I don't bother to review a show which I think is a lousy show or a bad episode, but I thought I owed it to all of you Star Trek fans. I don't know how many of you agree with me to share with you my feelings about 1.8. I'll, of course, be back here next week with my review of the next episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which would be 1.9. And pretty soon I'll be back here with my review of the new episode of The Orville. And then, of course, an episode of For All Mankind, and then a review in the next few days of The Man Who Fell to Earth. So, lots of good science fiction on television these days. I'm reviewing as much of it as I possibly can. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sound, and continue doing whatever you can to help those brave people of Ukraine fight off Vladimir Putin's fascist hordes that are invading their country.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplot2savesocrates.com.
ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.